Russian has a reputation as one of the hardest languages on earth. But is this really true? Everyone has heard that Russian is one of the hardest languages in the world. The alphabet looks bizarre, the words are 10 letters long, and the grammar, well, the grammar has a reputation. But here's the thing, I have taught Russian to thousands of complete beginners, and what they actually struggle with and what they were afraid of before starting, almost never the same thing. So, today, let's go through the scary parts one by one. The alphabet, the pronunciation, the famous cases, and I will show you what's really hard and what just looks hard but isn't that hard. And by the end, you will know for sure, is Russian really that difficult? Or is it one big myth? Segment 1. The alphabet. Let's start with the big one, the thing that stops most people before they even begin. This. I know what this looks like for someone who have never learned the Cyrillic alphabet before. It looks like password, like something you would need years to decode. So instead of telling you the alphabet is easy, let's make a deal. I'm going to show you a few letters, and then you are going to read a Russian word yourself in about 90 seconds. Deal? Okay, look at this word. 8 letters, and I promise you already know this word. Watch. This letter looks like your P, but it's actually R. This one, S. Always S. And this one, N. N. All the rest you already know. Y, T, O, A. Exactly what they look like. Sounds confusing, but at the end only 3 letters are different here. R, S, and N. So now read it with me. Restoran. Restoran. Restaurant. You just read Russian. Let's do another one. Faster. M is M. You know the rest? Metro. Metro. That's the word. Metro. Okay, another one. One U letter. This is P. P. The rest you already know. Sport. Sport. Okay, now the real test. A new word. I'm not going to help you at all. Every letter in it you've already seen. Ready? Did you get it? Passport. 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 3 minutes ago, this alphabet was just bizarre. Now it's still bizarre, but understandable. You've read 4 Russian words with almost zero help from me. And here's the honest truth about Cyrillic. It has 33 letters. About a third you already know. A third looks strange but makes sounds you already have. And the last third you learn in a weekend. Not a metaphorical weekend, a real one with coffee breaks. My students are usually reading full sentences, slowly, but reading within their first week. The alphabet isn't a wall, it's a door with slightly unusual handle. Verdict? So, 1 myth down. Next, segment 2. The pronunciation. Okay, Polina, fine, I can read it, but have you heard Russian? I could never make those sounds. Fair, let me show you the scariest word I know. Достопримечательность. 22 letters. It means a tourist attraction, which is funny because the word itself is a tourist attraction. But there is the secret nobody tells you about Russian pronunciation. Russian is honest. What you see is the same thing you say. There's no O that's pronounced 5 different ways like in English. No silent letters ambushing you from everywhere like in French. If you can read it, you can say it. Watch slowly. Do, sto, примечательность. Достопримечательность. You see, it's not hard. It's just long. Those are different things. And now I promised you honesty, so here it is. There is one sound in Russian that English simply doesn't have. This letter. U. Try it. Say E, but pull your tongue back like something slightly surprised you. E. So that's it. This is letter U. It's okay if it came out weird. It comes out weird for everybody at first. This one sound will take you a few weeks of feeling silly. That's the whole price. One sound. So the pronunciation is actually a myth, except for this little monster. Verdict? Segment 3. The good news nobody tells you. Now, before we get to the real monster, and yes, there is one, there are things about Russian that are genuinely easier than English. Nobody ever mentions these. Let's go fast. 1. Russian has no articles. None. A book, the book. In Russian it's just kniga, book. You will never ever have to decide between a and the again. Do you know how much time English learners spend suffering over that? 2. Questions. In English, you rearrange the whole sentence. You like coffee becomes do you like coffee? And suddenly there is a do that means nothing. In Russian, same words, you just raise your voice. Ты любишь кофе? You like coffee. Ты любишь кофе? Do you like coffee? You see, just your intonation, no grammar. 3. Tenses. English has, depending on who's counting, 12 to 16 tenses. I had been going to have gone. Russian has only 3. Past, present, future. I did, I do, I will do. Simple. And you know what? I have to say something here, because I learned English, so I have seen this from the other side. You want to talk about a hard language? Explain to me why it's in the morning, but at night. Explain why read and read are spelled the same, but they pronounced differently. And there, and there are pronounced the same and spelled differently. You learned that. As far as I'm concerned, you've already survived one of the strange languages on earth. You just don't get credit for it because you learned it as a baby. Before we meet the real monster, a quick thing, because I know what some of you are feeling right now. That little moment when you read passport by yourself. That feeling has a next step. I made a free PDF called the Russian Alphabet Jumpstart. It's the full alphabet organized as a guide with associated audio files. Most people get through it in a couple of hours. It's free. The link is right below in the description. And if this video is useful so far, the like button genuinely helps more people find it. Okay, now the monster. Segment 4. Cases. Alright. I've been very positive so far, and you've been patient, so let's talk about the thing, the reason Russian has its reputation. Cases. If you've ever googled Russian grammar, you probably found a giant table with 6 rows and 3 genders, and you probably closed the tab. I understand. That case table has surely scared away more Russian students than Professor Snape scared Hogwarts students. But I'm not going to show you the table. Because the table is not what cases are. The table is just the worst possible way to meet them. Instead, let me show you what cases actually do in one small sentence. You're eating soup. You want to say, I eat soup with a spoon. In English, you needed the word with. Russian says, Я ем суп ложкой. Я ем суп ложкой. Look at that last word. Ложка is spoon, but I say ложкой. Not ложка. And that ending ой replaces the preposition with. You see, there is no with in my sentence. The ending did the job. That's all what cases are. In English, the order of words and little helper words carry the meaning. In Russian, the endings carry it. Same information, it just lives in a different part of the sentence. Which, by the way, is why Russians can shuffle their words order freely and the sentence still means the exactly same thing. The endings keep everything glued together. Now, am I telling you cases are easy? No! I'm honest with you. This is the real work of learning Russian. There are 6 of them. The endings change, and it takes months of practice before they feel natural. This is the real monster. It's real. But here's what I've noticed after years of teaching beginners, and I find this fascinating. Almost nobody quits because of cases. People quit because of how they met cases. They met them as a table to memorize instead of meeting them the way you just did, inside a sentence, doing an actual job, meaning something. When an ending means something, your brain keeps it. When it's row 4, column 2, your brain files it on the school and erases it by Friday. Verdict: monster, but a trainable one. Segment 5. Verbs of motion. There is one more honest monster, and I will be quick because it's a strange little creature. In English, you go everywhere. You go to work, you go to Paris, you go crazy. One verb, very relaxed. Russian looks at go and says, not so fast. How are you going? On foot or by transport? Those are different verbs. Идти if you are walking, ехать if you are riding. And this is a one-way trip or you go somewhere regularly and you come back, different verbs. For example, я иду на работу. I am going to work right now. But if I go to work every day, then it's another verb. Я хожу на работу. So, where English sees one action, Russian sees a small documentary about your travel plans. So yes, it's real. Yes, learners complain about it. But here's what I need you to know, because this is where the internet lies to you. You will not need this for months. This is not a beginner problem. Beginners say, I go to work with one simple verb and every Russian understands them perfectly. Verbs of motion are a chapter you meet somewhere down the road when you already have conversations. And by then, you have a feel for the language that makes them land completely differently. Nobody fails Russian because of verbs of motion. Most people who quit never even got far enough to meet them. Which brings me to the real question of this whole video. Verdict? Monster, but not your monster yet. So why do so many people quit thinking it's too hard? Because think about it. We just went through the list. The alphabet, a weekend. The pronunciation, honest, plus one funny sound. Articles, don't exist. The genuinely hard parts, cases, verbs of motion, those show up gradually, not on day one. So if the famous difficulties aren't what's stopping people, why do some people who start Russian give up in the first month or two? I have watched this happen so many times and I will tell you what I see. The people who quit were almost never fighting the language. They were fighting their motivation and method. Here's what usually happened. They downloaded the app, and the app gave them pieces, a word here, a phrase there, little points, little streaks, and the pieces aren't wrong, but nobody ever connected them. Nobody showed them why the ending changed, why the sentence is built that way, the logic that would let them build their own sentences instead of repeating really made ones. So after months of collecting pieces, they still couldn't say one sentence of their own. And they did the thing that breaks my heart a little bit every time. They decided it was them. I'm too old, my memory is bad, I'm just not a language person. If that story sounds familiar, if you have tried Russian before and it didn't stick, I want you to actually hear this. It almost certainly wasn't you. A pile of disconnected pieces is impossible to speak with in any language. You didn't fail Russian. The pieces just never got connected. And that's the thing about this whole is Russian hard question. The difficulty of the language isn't only the language itself, it's in how the language reaches you. The same case ending is a nightmare in a table and completely obvious in a soup sentence. You saw that yourself 10 minutes ago. So we've tested every fear. You've read Russian, you've heard the truth about the monsters, and you know why people really quit, which means you're finally ready for my honest answer to the question in the title. The final verdict. So, is Russian really that hard to learn? Here's my honest answer. The one I promised you. Russian is not the hardest language in the world. Russian is a front-loaded language. All of its scary is at the entrance. The alphabet looks terrifying and it takes a weekend. The words look unpronounceable and I've written exactly as they sound. And then, the deeper you go, the more logical it gets. No articles, 3 tenses, endings that follow patterns. English is the opposite, by the way. English smiles at you on day one and then spends 10 years surprising you with though, through, and thorough. So Russian doesn't get harder, it gets fairer. The people who quit didn't lose to the language. Most of them never got past the entrance because nobody walked them through it properly. And that's really the answer. The question was never, is Russian hard? It's, will the pieces get connected? You saw the difference yourself today. The same ending that's terrifying in a table made perfect sense in a sentence about soup. That's exactly how I teach. And if you want to feel it properly, not just read 4 words, but have your first small conversation in Russian, I made something for that. It's called Start Russian, your first conversation. It's a small course. Right now it's $17 and it does what the name says. This gives you a starting point for learning Russian, and after a couple of hours, you've had your first exchange in Russian, greeting someone, introducing yourself, with every piece connected to the why, so it actually stays. The link is in the description right under the free Russian alphabet guide. Start with whichever one fits where you are right now. But maybe you're thinking, Polina, I read a few words today, but I still have no idea what real Russian actually sounds like in daily life. That's fair. Reading is one thing, hearing it is another. Good news! I made a whole video with the 50 phrases Russians actually use every single day. Real pronunciation, real situations, slow enough to repeat. If today made Russian feel possible, that video is your natural next step. It's right here. I will see you there. Пока-пока.